Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. This Wednesday evening, as usual, we'll be studying from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the Panchama Veda. Now let us begin. Tavo kathamritam tapta jivanam kabi vidilitam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadatatam bhubi grinanti e bhurida janaha. Friends, we were studying from the page, English page 861 and Bengali 931. The conversation was going on between the Dr. Sharkar and Sri Ramakrishna's physician and Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Many other devotees were also there. So Sri Ramakrishna mentioned about the characteristics of the tamasika, the last guna, the quality, the most bad thing is the tamasika. And what are the two things mainly? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna pointed out over here, the pride and the lust. These are the two the identity. We identify a person of a tamasic nature with these two, the bad qualities. One is the pride, another is the lust. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning that Girindra Ghosh of Pathuriya Ghata once remarked, "Since you cannot get rid of your passions, your lust, your anger, and so on, give them to new direction. Instead of directing worldly pleasure, desire God." Girish Ghosh of Pathuriya Ghata once remarked. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, this is the very famous words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, but he perhaps heard from someone, so he is mentioning this over here. And this is a unique way to eradicate our nature. It is embedded, or already there, right from our birth it is there. But without removing this thing, we cannot realize God. Where it stay? In the mind. So obviously the mind, which is going to realize God, is taking us towards God, it is all loaded with all bad qualities. How can you move? So we have to eradicate this. What is the easiest way? Now direct it towards God itself. I have an anger that instead of being angry with the worldly things, if I say, how come that I am not realizing God? God has given the darshana. He has blessed so many people. Then why not me? So like that, if we are angry with God and if we are desiring God, all these our qualities, if we direct towards God, that will be a great help. Now the wind is some people, they are rowing the boat and there is a wind. If they unfurl and utilize that wind, then they will reach faster. Why? Because they are utilizing the wind. The wind is a power. But if it goes against, then it is very difficult. Even in the modern days, the planes, if they get the tailwind, it can save a very costly fuel and time. They reach earlier. Utilizing the power. The power is in the nature. It is inside our nature. And in the nature there is anger is there, depression is there, and all these things are there. Now if we turn towards God and say, I must realize God. If other people could do that, could realize God, I also will be able to realize God. But that is the way. They say, you cannot get rid of anger. Then change its direction, assume the tamasic attitude of bhakti, and say, what? I have repeated the hallowed name of Durga, and shall I not be liberated? How can I be a sinner any more? How can I be the bound any more? If you cannot get rid of temptation, direct it towards God. Be infatuated with the God's beauty. If you cannot get rid of pride, then be proud to say that you are the servant of God, you are the child of God. Thus turn the six passions towards God. That all these six passions, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsarya, and all these passions, all these the qualities which are considered bad qualities, which bounds us, which are the causes of our suffering, if we can utilize their power to reach to God, see the wonderful technique to turn towards God. Then the doctor is telling it is very hard to control the sense organs. Now today is the topic, very hard to control the sense organs. That is true. Anyone who is trying to meditate, he knows that it is so difficult to control the mind. The mind is a very peculiar thing. We think it is my mind and I am thinking, I am cognizing, I am realizing, I am planning, all this in the mind. But mind is not in my control. How you will know that? Try to meditate. Sit somewhere and try to control your mind, try to see a light within your heart. You'll never ever will do that. At that moment, so many other thoughts will come, waves after waves. If you are removing one, another thought will enter. And you will think that this is important to think at that very moment. And we will go on thinking different things than the thing that I was supposed to concentrate with. I cannot concentrate, I cannot control my mind, but it is my mind. It is not our problem. It was the problem of a hero like Arjuna. The Arjuna of that Mahabharata fame, in that Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he was mentioning that you must control your mind. If you can control the mind, all problems will be solved. Then he said, well, when you are saying it is good, obviously it is good, but you know what? Chanchalam hi manak Krishna pramati balabad dhidham tasyaham nigraham manne bayoriva suduskaram. It is so difficult to control. So, O Krishna, mind is very restless. Chanchala. Chanchala means restless. Turbulent, pramati. Strong, balabat. And unyielding, dhidham, is so difficult to control. I think it is almost impossible to control. As we cannot control the air, it is like that. That was the comment of the hero, like Arjuna. It's so difficult to control the mind. And in Yoga Shastra, which deals with the mind, it says the mind has 4 different stages. We see the people, it looks like the same, but according to their minds, there are 4 different types. First is Shipta, restless. Vikshipta, turbulent. Mudha, it is dumb. Ekagra, one-pointed. Now we have to judge our mind and we have to say, of course we cannot disclose, it's very personal. We cannot tell it to others. And we have to decide what is my condition. Is it Shipta? Is it restless? Vikshipta? Turbulent? Because I cannot think anything properly. No. Majority of us, majority of the people, I have seen that that is mostly we are in the Shipta condition. It is not Mudha. The Mudha people, they cannot think. They are going on drinking and sitting like that, and they cannot think. Like they have taken the the narcotics and all that, sitting over there. If they cannot think, we are not like that. Those who are trying, majority of the people who are trying to realize God, I am talking about them, and they are alert. They want to realize God. They want to control the mind. They want to know things properly and analytical way. So obviously, their mind is a little restless, of course. So most of us, majority of us, we are in the first category, Shipta. Vikshipta is a crazy, mad type of people. They go on thinking different things. They cannot sit in one place, constantly changing the places. That is called Vikshipta condition. So we are not Mudha, we are not dumb, we are not turbulent, our mind is not turbulent, but our mind is not ekagra also. It is not ekagra, that one-pointed. We are trying to make it one-pointed, and that is why we take initiation, we do the mantra japa, we do the services to the holy places, and we do donate people, like they help people. So in so many different ways, we are trying to purify our mind and keeping our mind in one particular place and trying to be ekagra, one-pointed. And that one-pointedness, when it deepens, then only it is samadhi. So that is a more higher condition. The samadhi, forget about that, and the present condition is shipta, is the restless condition. So that was the yoga shastra, they actually are mentioning that our mind has this four. So we know now that we are in our condition is that a little restless. There are many other things. So that is the reason. Then Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is mentioning, a man need not fear anything if but once he receives the grace of God, if but once he obtains the vision of God, if but once he attain the self-knowledge, then the six passions cannot do any harm to him. Now that is the ultimate condition. If we realize God, if someone has realized God, if someone has realized that self, then only it is possible. Now it is like this. If we have not controlled the mind, purified the mind, we cannot realize God. And once you realize the God, the obviously your attraction to God will be so much so, it will be one-pointed, it will be meditative way to think of God. So other passions, nothing can, no, six passions that we are having, they can do any harm. But to realize the God, we have to eradicate all this condition. So how to do that? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna will come to that too. Then eternally perfect souls like the Narada and Prahlada did not have to take the trouble to put blinkers on their eyes. Doctor, the Sarkar was mentioning, to control the horses, we have to put the blinkers, both the side of the eyes, so that the horse see only the front, and it will run in that. And if he sees the right, left, it is so difficult to control. And I know that once we went to Bihar, we have a center, they were celebrating for some program was there, and they asked me to sit on an elephant. In Bihar, the elephant was there. I sat on the elephant, and elephant was interested too, go and take by the side of the roads, there are small shops, and the fruits were there, particularly banana, the bunches were hanging. It is interested to get that. And the person who was trying to control, sometimes he was giving it a loose, so it will go and take that banana and eat. And organizers, but our ashrama, they are supposed to pay for that. So obviously the owner of the elephant, it was as if he was trying to control, and it is not, but that way he was allowing. My problem was, once it is going to left side, one it is going to right side, we were not moving forward. So I was asking him, "Arey bhai, chalo, let us go forward, because the whole procession is going away." So this is the condition. If you are not controlling the eyes of the animal, they will see and then they will be tempted, they will go, because they are not trained. So that is why they always put the blink both the sides of the eyes of the horses. So the horse see only straight and then go straight according to the command of the master. So here also mind, you have to put the blinkers both the side. We see so many other things. Some people are suffering, oh, we have to go and serve them, we have to help them, and it is something, oh, we have to do that. We always go running here and there and thinking that I have to do that, except me, who will help? By that way, I get so much involved into that, and we forget to realize God. So one must be very, very careful. The perfect, the Narada and the Prahlada, he is talking about the wonderful characters. Many of you know, those who have accustomed with the Indian customs, you know the Narada and Prahlada. They were there, and it's a great characters. For them it is not necessary. And the very present in the world, we have seen the great personalities like Swami Vivekananda, Swami Brahmananda, Swami Turiyananda, the apostles of Sri Ramakrishna, the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. They were perfected souls. When they were practicing the spiritual austerities, that is to show us, they were already perfect. They were not having any temptations for the worldly things, but they were living into that, but at the same time they were free. So that is completely different. The child who holds the father's hand while walking along the narrow path in the paddy field may loosen his hold in a moment of carelessness and slip into the ditch. But it is quite different if the father holds the child's hand. Then the child never falls into the ditch. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is giving us an indication that if you are completely surrendering to God, as a child is surrendered to God, Father, and Father is holding the child's hand, then there is no problem for the child. Sometimes I have seen the children, after visiting some of the fairs and all, they are tired, they are almost sleeping, and at the same time dragging their legs, and father is holding the hand, and they are safe. But suppose he was holding the hand of the father, sometimes the opportunity he will lose and he will go somewhere else. So hold to God, that is the idea, hold to God. But that needs a great faith, complete self-surrender. It's not so easy, because we have our ego embedded. The moment we become 4 years, 5 years old, we start saying, I, my father, my mother, I, this, and all that naturally is there already right from the birth. And this ego is separating me from my God. God is already there, already present, only because of the ego. Then holding the hand of the Father means what? Having a faith, developing a faith, and constantly remembering God. You know, the easiest way, when you go out for some work, we should report to God and say, today I am going to attend, these are the things that I have to do in my office, so please be with me. Then you go, when you start your work, there also you remember God. God, these are the things I am going to do. These people are coming, I have to convince them this. So please be with me. So that is a way of depending on God, constantly remembering. So suppose you are successful, the first thing that you should do, that remembering God and thanking Him, because you were there, so I could think in this way, I could present my project in this way, and they have accepted it because of you, oh God. But what we do, when you are successful, we take the credit on ourselves. Oh, see, I am so intelligent, I could convince them. And when we are failure, we blame God. No, that cannot. So this is, we have to practice in this way constantly. We need not to show it outside. The people will think that you are mad, particularly in the modern day it is impossible. So outside you must show your personalities and all, but inside constantly going on taking the help of God, remembering God, praying to God, that is called holding the hand of God. And God will also, after some time, when we are constantly praying in that way, when my mind is not attached or contaminated with the worldly ego, worldly nasty things, He will also help us. But basic thing in all these actions, to believe, have faith that God is there. I cannot see God right now. I cannot talk to God. But still I am believing, 100% I am believing God is there. How? I have to take someone as my ideal. This is a person who never tells lies and who will never deviate from his words. Now Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is my ideal. And whatever he says, I believe that is all true. And believing that, when Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna has said, God is there, I should not keep any doubt in my mind. And if the doubt creeps in, and that is natural, I should talk to Sri Ramakrishna and say, please remove these doubts from my mind and giving example that you are there. So if we pray like that, someday, sometime, a blessed moment will come and you will truly see God. Not in dream, not in imagination, but in practical life, you can see. And then there will be no doubt at all. Viddante hridaya granthi chiddanti sarva samsayaha. Samsaya, the samsaya means the doubts. All doubts will go away. There will be no doubt because you have seen face to face. Then Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, about him, Swami Vivekananda, he is writing, Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram. Mahaastra is a powerful weapon to destroy the demon of doubts. The constantly we are doubting, and obviously, of course, some modern people will say, if we don't doubt, if we believe, of course you can doubt. But suppose you are thinking in a proper way and your doubts are removed, and what you are going to do? Just out of curiosity, if you are thinking that you will never get the proper answer. Just I like to know, that's all, and then I will be as I was. No. And if you are truly sincere, then like Swami Vivekananda, who was doubting in every step, but then he was convinced. And once he said to other brothers, he said, the person who is lying down over here in a human form is nothing but God. Now I am convinced. So that is called the realization. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna say, a man need not fear anything if but once he receives the grace of God, if but once he obtains the vision of God, if but once he attains self-knowledge. Then the doctor, but it is not proper for a father to hold his child by the hand. No, doctor, then that modern person, he constantly wants, he is thinking in a very different way. He is thinking why the father will constantly support the son. Son should grow up and stand. That is not what Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning is completely different. But the doctor, from the very the worldly point of view, he is mentioning that if the father is holding the hand of God, his son, it is not good. The son should support himself, he should grow up. That is a separate thing. But Sri Ramakrishna says something else. Then immediately the Sri Ramakrishna is giving the answer. It is not quite like that. Did you notice, friends, even a person like Dr. Sharkar, who was a man of science and very intelligent person, even he is not understanding the true meaning of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. Very simple way Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said that if the God is holding the hand of a child, and he equated like the father holding the hand of a child. And now the doctor took the second one and he said it is not good for the father to support the child all through. But he couldn't understand actually what Sri Ramakrishna meant. So he said it is not quite like that. Great sages have childlike natures. Before God, they are always like children. They have no pride. Their strength is the strength of God, the strength of their Father. They have nothing to call their own. They are firmly convinced of that. Now, this is that's why it's called Dhriti. Some people are intelligent. They are, as in Sanskrit they call Buddhiman. But Dhriti is a completely different intellect, which can understand the subtlest point of the spirituality. And Dhriti never grows until and unless you are meditating. You are controlling your sense organs. You are purifying your mind, withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. No, Dhriti won't grow. That's why it needs 12 years long brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means constant practice on this. Then only a subtle, that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, a special type of body becomes inside the other body. So they can, this our normal body, they can understand this very intricate, the religious point or spiritual point. The majority of the people, they always talk from the outer level, external level. They do not understand what is religion. But here Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is trying to convince the doctor, and again he is telling this. They are firmly convinced of that because the rishis, they have realized God and they have seen all power is in that God. So obviously there is no doubt, and they become just like the children. There is no ego in them. They are just in his hand, and whatever he asks them to do, they do. Can you make a horse move forward without covering his eyes with blinkers? Can one realize God without first controlling the passions? Now, doctor is thinking in a different way. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is putting, it is everything in God's hand. What passion? When I am crying to realize God, and if God comes and reveals himself, he is all powerful, he can do it. It doesn't matter whether my past karma was bad or not, all will be eradicated in a flash of a moment. God's grace. But the doctor is telling no. As you cannot make the horse run without this, similarly, first you have to control all the passions, and then only you can realize God. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is saying, he's a psychologist. Sri Ramakrishna, he knew this man is very hard to get the answer. So obviously, he is going on giving the answer, trying to make him convince, so that at least through him, other people will understand. And we are benefited. Our mind is also just like the Sharkar. And as because we don't have the spiritual practices, and most of the time, whatever we see, whatever we try to explain, we explain from the point of view of very worldly way. So obviously, the doctor is helping us to understand our own mind. And the great master, Sri Ramakrishna, he is going on patiently giving the answer. What you say is according to the path of discrimination. It is known as the Jnana Yoga. Through that path, too, one attains God. The Jnanis say that an aspirant must first of all purify his heart. But, Shankaracharya, in his Vivek Chudamani, he is giving the stress on Mana Shuddhi Prakarana. Prakarana means the theory, Prakarana means the practice. The what? Mana Shuddhi, the purification of the mind. Then what is that mind? And how the mind is getting turbulent? And what are the sources that we should stop? And like that, he is going on. The 5 organs are there. They are going out and bringing all the information, giving to the mind. Mind is naturally agitated. Then to control the mind, we have to stop feeding these our sense organs. We should not see any bad things. We should not hear any bad words. And we should not smell, we should not taste, like that. By that way, constantly when we are practicing that, and when there is no supply of things, mind is becoming weaker and weaker in that way, and obviously getting purified. That's all. So that is the first thing, and then turn that mind towards the discrimination. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the pure soul. Mano buddhi aham kara chittani naham. Nacha shotra juve, nacha grana netre, nacha vyoma bhumi, Schidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am not these, I am not these, I am not these. So whatever we see in this world, I am not that. Aham nirvikalpa, nirakara rupa, vibhutvacha sarvatra, sarvendriyana. I am like a vibhu. Vibhu means all-pervasive consciousness. I am that. I am conscious and all-pervasive. Whatever I see, it is me only. So that is the way the Jnani, they practice. But Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, but God can also be realized through the path of devotion. When you are talking, using the word God, that means some power which is there and which can help us. So he is mentioning God can also be realized through the path of devotion. Once the devotee develops love for the lotus feet of God and enjoys the singing of his name and attributes, he does not have to make special effort to refrain his senses, to restrain his senses. For such a devotee, the sense organs come under control of themselves. There are 2 paths, very clear. One, the aspirant doing himself, trying to do it himself or herself, trying to control all these sense organs. It's called path of not these, neti, neti. But there is another path which is more easy to follow, and that is the path of devotion. But if the devotion is also not the practicing the different type of analysis, then it becomes dogmatic. That is another problem. Slowly the people, they self-hypnotize themselves. They think that they are hearing the words of God. They think that they are getting the message from the God, and they do the self-hypnotize themselves and behave very peculiarly. And they are dangerous for the human society because they are not original, they are not real, but they are pretending. And if they are a powerful person, if they are the rulers, if they have the capacity to take decision, then that whole society will suffer. So that is why it should go together. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna suggested in this present age, Naradiya Bhakti. Here he is mentioning devotion, but most of the time he has mentioned in this age it is Naradiya Bhakti. Why? It's a mixture of knowledge and devotion. If we don't know what is God, then I will think whatever I have thought, that is the only God. Whatever the clashes that we find in the history and also in the present day, in the name of God, because of this. If someone thought this is my God and this is the perfect God and everyone should follow him or I am going to kill him. And who are you? So that is the problem. They think that they are doing God's work by killing hundreds of people. Oh, terrible. And one after another in the history, sometimes the Catholics are killing the Protestants, Protestants are killing the Catholics, but they are all the followers of Lord Jesus, who were the incarnation of love. So this is very peculiar. Then why they are behaving like this? Because misunderstanding, misrepresentation of the teachings of that particular incarnation whom they are following. So when they say, when the Jesus say, I am the path, who is this Jesus then? That particular person? No. The quality of Jesus. When the Krishna said, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam bhaja, you give up everything and come to me and worship me. And if the followers of Krishna say, see, he said this, and everyone in this world should follow this, or we are going out to burn them, kill them. So misinterpretation. Here the Krishna doesn't mean that particular person. It is the all-pervading God. Because the same Krishna said, I am everywhere. Everywhere. Whatever you see is nothing but me. I am the creator. So we have to understand that. This is a very, very difficult. Religion is a tremendous powerful thing. But if we misutilize it, then it is a destructive. But if we properly utilize it, it is a source of happiness. It is the source of happiness. It is the source of joy. So always we have to keep in mind, am I truly becoming happy and making others happy? Then I am following the right path. Whether I follow the path of knowledge, discriminating, neti neti, or I am following the path of devotion, this is love, and iti iti. No problem. Both paths are leading to the same goal. And what is the goal? It is love. Why love? Because we are all one. One group of people, those who are devotees, they say God has created this universe. Another group says it is from the consciousness that everything has manifested. These are the difference. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning he does not have to make special effort to restrain the senses. This is a practice. When I am depending on the mother, when I am depending on the father, I know that everything mother or father will take care. Only I have to do my own job. That's all. Here also the devotee, they must perform their own. And what is that? Faith and belief in the existence of God. And how they will know that they are treading the right path, they are following the right path? Love will increase within them and hatred will go away. If not, they are following the wrong path. So we should be very, very careful that it is love and unselfishness which is the yardsticks of the spirituality. And if we don't know it, then I may bring bad things in my own life and also the people around me in the name of religion. The other things we don't know, but about in the name of religion, it is only love, it is only compassion, it is only service, it is only unselfishness. That should be there. These are the qualities. Suppose a man has just lost his son and is mourning his death. Can he be in a mood to quarrel with others that very day? Or enjoy the feast in the house of a friend? Can he that very day show his pride before others or enjoy sense pleasure? If the moth discovers light, can it remain in darkness any longer? Sri Ramakrishna gave an example. And so true. We are egoistic. But where will be our ego when something, this type of very bad thing happens in our life? God forbid, everybody should be happy. But suppose something wrong happen. On that day, what actually a person behave? He becomes humble. And similarly, we should understand in this nature, we are really, really in a vulnerable condition. We do not have any power. We cannot do anything. This nature is so powerful. So obviously, be humble. And when we are humble, at the same time, if we are having a faith in the existence of God, as because the great personalities like the Jesus, like Buddha, like Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course Buddha didn't mention about God, but his own presence that gives the faith, there is something. So that is the way if we are thinking, what happens? A solace comes, a hope comes. There is something, someone is there. You know that we slowly weaken our mind and we think that everything bad is happening because of the God, and then we imagine some devil, some this thing or that thing. We become more weak, more weak. No, we have to go out. We have to mix with people. At that moment, you should not be alone. You should not be lonely because you cannot fight with your mind. The dark side of your mind is becoming stronger than the lighted side. We have the Deva and Asura inside our mind. And the Deva means the good knowledges and bad knowledges are also there. So we imagine. And when you strongly imagine that, oh, the devil is doing this, devil is doing that, in the history of human being, still today, in this modern age, when a person is becoming old and in civilized countries as nowadays they have stopped it, but previously people used to think, oh, my old mother or grandmother, they have become the devil, we have to throw them. Sometimes they used to burn them, sometimes they used to throw them in the jungle to die over there instead of any compassion for them. Rather, they should understand that the old person, then obviously his body becomes dilapidated like that. Everyone has that. But the thought was not there in a primitive condition. Then slowly, they started understanding. In our religion, Hindu religion, in the beginning itself, they used to teach the brahmacharis, the students, Matri Devo Bhava, Pitri Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. Why? Because the mother and the father, now they are supporting you. But when you grow up and become strong, they are exhausted. They become old. Their skins loses and they can't see properly. All their sense organs are becoming old. They cannot walk, they cannot talk, they behave sometimes in a not in proper way. Then what to do? Shall we throw them? When we were children, they helped us so much. Now it is our turn to look after them. So this is called religion, aware about one's own duty. As a son, as a daughter, we are supposed to support our parents. We should talk to them, we should keep touch with them, we should inquire about them, and slowly they become just like the children. When we were children, we were not understanding many things. We used to cry, we used to demand. Now they have become children. And it is our turn to serve them as they have taken care of ourselves. This is called religion. This is called performing one's own duty. So this is the way we have to understand. The poor person suffering over there on the street, who knows? God forbid. Maybe I will be like that. So this is the way. If we think, where will be our ego? Nowhere. I have to help that person, it's okay. Why? Because God has given me the opportunity to earn some money. At least a little portion I must give to that unfortunate living God. It is, at least God has not put me into that condition. By that way I am safe. Shall I not help that person? So this way, if we think, your mind is constantly thinking of God. And not just compassion, not like that. It is with the discrimination, with the vichara. This may happen, this is the way it goes. What should be my the reaction to this? So this is the way Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. The moment he said that, then the doctor said, according to the path of the discrimination, and then he said like this, suppose a man has just lost his, and if the moth discover a light, can it remain? So he is mentioning, when you see the light, when you see the happiness, naturally we will go to that. Immediately the doctor took it literally and said, oh, of course, it cannot. It would rather fly into the flame and perish. See how he is reacting. When Sri Ramakrishna is giving an idea, he is thinking in a completely different way. I don't know whether he was knowingly saying like that so that the Sri Ramakrishna will give more advices, or it was his nature to think in that way. Whatever. Now, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna gave the example of the moth going towards the light, not to perish, but to go to the light. In a human being, when we see anywhere, any place or a country, if that is prosperous, if that is having the freedom, all people like to go over there. From all over, every corner of the world, people will like to go to that particular part. Why? Because they like freedom. They like happiness. They know that just I like to laugh, I like to go with my friends and relatives and family, and nobody should say anything to me. I am going to earn, I should work hard, earn some money, enjoy my life. That much they want. But even then, those who are in the power, no, they will go on saying this and that. They think they are doing, sometimes some people, they think they are doing great religious work, and the girls should not do this and these should not do that. They are thinking they are doing great, but they do not understand they are going against God. And this bad karma will take them down. But that is a different subject, different thing. But whatever, we want the freedom. We want happiness. Similar, but doctor understood that, oh, they will go and they will perish. Immediately, the Sri Ramakrishna said, if the master, oh no, that's not so. A lover of God does not burn himself in death like a moth. The light to which he rushes is like a light of a gem. That light is brilliant, no doubt, but it is also cooling and soothing. That light does not scorch his body. It gives him joy and peace. Yes, friend, it is true. It's true. Those who have realized it, they are just in that. One of our Swami, long back, he said to me, he's a very senior Swami, now he's a very old and highly respected. He told when they were supposed to get the sannyasa, in Ramakrishna order, you have to be 9 years as a brahmachari. Then if they observe that you are, and now to some extent, you can get the sannyasa, they will recommend and you will get the sannyasa. Now he was getting ready to get the sannyasa vow, and he told, I came to Thakur's temple in the dead night and told to Thakur, I have not realized anything in these 9 years. I just like a machine repeated your name, but no experience, and I am going to get the sannyasa. What will happen to me? Then when he was with his closed eyes and the empty huge temple, he was alone sitting and was praying to God. Suddenly he saw a lot of light. He thought, is the temple priest has already come and they have put on the light? He opened his eyes and he saw the outside is dark. But then he closed his eyes, he saw the light within himself. And he was happy, at the same time afraid, first experience. And he ran back to the camp where all the other brahmacharis, they were lying. Usually they ask us to live in common way, and on the floor you will have a mat and no pillow, nothing will be there. On the mat you have to lie. Mostly we used to use our bags, the side sling bag as our pillow. Side by side we used to lie down. He went and he quietly lied in his own position, in his place, but he couldn't sleep. So much of light. Whenever he is closing his eyes, he saw the light. That light was going on, becoming more and more. It is so bright. But this, then he said, I still remember, he said, but this light, if you look at it, you become like feeling like a soothing. It is not, it's burning. Sometimes it is dazzling your eyes. No, it is not like that. They feel like looking at it intently, but he became afraid. He was a young man that time, and so he prayed to God again. So what will happen to me tomorrow then? If I go on seeing this light, I cannot sleep, and I need a sleep in this night because tomorrow morning is a whole day. There are so many rituals I have to follow. So when he prayed like that, suddenly there was darkness. And after so many years, he was telling, I was such a fool. What if I could not sleep that night? I could continue. But it is there. Why I am mentioning this? It is there. The light is there, and it never, it is not like the firelight where the moth goes and burn itself. It's a very soothing and cooling and very enjoying. So Sri Ramakrishna, oh no, that is not so. A lover of God does not burn himself to death like a moth. The light to which he rushes is like the light of a gem. That light is brilliant, no doubt, but it is also cooling and soothing. That light does not scorch his body, it gives him joy and peace. One realizes God by following the path of discrimination and knowledge, but this is an extremely difficult path. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning it because in the modern days, as the education has spread it, majority of the people are getting education, then obviously from that point of view they think they are intelligent people and they think they understand the path of knowledge. But path of knowledge is completely different thing. Just for the knowledge you can learn it. There are so many students they are studying the philosophy, they know about Vedanta, the path of knowledge, Advaita Vedanta, but it is extremely difficult. In Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan Krishna mentioned the same thing. It is easy enough to say such things as I am not the body, mind or intellect. I am beyond grief, disease and sorrow. I am the embodiment of existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. I am beyond pain and pleasure. I am not under the control of the sense organs. But it is very, very hard to assimilate these ideas and practice them. Suppose I see my hand cut by a thorn and blood gushing out, then is it not right for me to say, why, my hand is not cut by the thorn? I am right. In order to be able to say that, I must first of all burn the thorn itself in the fire of knowledge. I may say that I am not the body, but when there is a prick of a thorn, then we'll jump up and we'll say, oh no, but the path of knowledge, so it is so difficult. About the knowledge about the path of knowledge, it is okay. But for the practice, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's path, Kali Yuge Naradiya Bhakti, and in this present age, it should be the combination of knowledge, work and devotion. Thank you, friends. In next Wednesday, we will start from here.
So the first question is from Swarup Chakraborty. He's asking, can mind really realize God? Who actually realizes it? Is it mind, intellect, or Jivatma? Or is it something beyond comprehensive? What is your personal take?
See, we say the mind is realizing, but Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned it is not this mind, it is a completely different divine mind. And that is called the consciousness. That realizing means what? Just understanding I am that. You know, it is not I am going somewhere and getting something. Something which is not there, I am going and having that, acquiring that. No, it is not like that. I am that. That knowledge dawns and I realize it where? Of course, in my that Jivatma, that self-consciousness. That consciousness which is the part of the Paramatma, there that it reveals. And what happens? I understand I am the total, But only I am thinking I am separate, that much, nothing else. As an example, we can say, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, that Swami Vivekananda was very young, and Sri Ramakrishna told, you and me are same. He said, how that is possible? You are a holy man and I am a student. I am also not a Brahmin person. He said, see how it works. Then he kept a big jar of water and left a small piece of stick on that. Then he said, from above, we see the two parts of water, doesn't it? As if this stick is making the water divided into two parts. But in reality, it is the same water. The same way, you are thinking that we are two different bodies, two different personalities. But in reality, we are one. So after the realization, this is the feeling, and all realized souls, they have expressed in that way. But who realizes? Your question. The one who is realizing is the realizer. The same thing I am going to realize is me, and I come to know that. That's all.
Srima Biswas is asking how to control the mind.
You know, Srima, the answer that Bhagavad Gita, as I was mentioning Arjuna's question, he told that it is impossible to control the mind. In reply to that, Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, and that is the only answer, it's coming down the 1,000 years, that is the practices. And it says, you have to practice it, only practice it, and practice will make you perfect. So in the Bhagavad Gita also, Sri Krishna mentioned this, that if you are practicing it regularly, slowly, 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 that will give you the power and control the mind. Abhyashena tu kaunteya, vairagyena cha griyate. Kaunteya, Arjuna. Abhyasa means repeated practice with love. Not just somebody said and I am going on practicing, with love, that I am practicing it to go beyond this bondage. And along with that, vairagya, vishaye viraga. This world I don't want. As long as I am living, it is okay. I enjoy everything, but I don't want this, I am not attached to this. So by that way, you have to go on suggesting your mind and practicing the vairagya, the dispassion, and practicing constantly to control the mind. That is the way, only way.
Virendra Majumdar is starting with a statement and then he is asking a question. His first statement is, the brain says, be quietly, think of Creator Mother, but the mind is reluctant to obey the brain. Very, very difficult. Should we cry to the Creator Mother?
Of course, that is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, that is the easiest path. If you have the conviction, there is the Creator Mother, the Mother is saying this, so why not pray to Mother? Mother, I don't want the huge emperor. You are you have the power to control this unique universe. I am only a tiny part. I want to be with you. By that way, if we are praying, surely the Divine Mother will help. Okay.
So the next question is from the YouTube user SM. He is asking, when in distress, going through troubles, how can we control our senses to stop the mind from continuously thinking about the problems during prayer in this situation? How to focus the mind on Ma and Thakur?
Now, this is a very practical question, very practical question. When we are in a cozy room, sitting comfortably, saying this, then do this, do that, but in that under the scorching sun of the problems, and it is really, really difficult. But we should try our best to face the problem, to solve the problem. At the same time, if we go on praying to God, even by saying this, I am not fully convinced that you are there or not, but all the scripture says, and the great souls they say, so believing their words, I am praying to you, O God, have mercy on me, give me strength, give me some friends, give me some help, and take me out of this problem. Problem comes because of our past karma, and we have to be very, very patient. So because of the bad karma that we have done in the past, this karma phala is coming. So be patient and go on praying to God. Whatever I did, I do not know why I did, but please forgive me and give me your blessings and take me out of this problem. This prayer will strengthen your mind and your effort to go beyond the problem, to fight against the problem. That will help you.
Shomen Das is asking, when one is in distress and devastating effects in life is creating havoc, how to rely on God? It is very difficult to be calm. I'm trying to be calm, but I cannot stay calm.
See, if you are not, then who is suffering? You are suffering. I can understand at the time of distress, we cannot control, but we like to cry, we like to show our anger. But is that solving the problem? It is not solving the problem. So obviously, that is the moment, a very challenging moment. You have to show your own mettle, and you have to say, well, now so many years have passed and I was so happy. Why? Because God was happy with me. Something wrong I have done, and the God has given this problem to me to suffer. Now, this is God only who can remove it. By that way, as I was telling in the previous answer, whatever the way is possible to solve that, meeting the people, trying to get some friends and other help, do that. At the same time, go on praying to God. I must have done something wrong in my previous life, but whatever it may be, now I am praying to you, please help me, give me some respite, take me out of this, and it is too much for me to bear. Please, please help me. So if you are thinking in that way constantly and strongly, what will happen? Your mind, which was constantly brooding over the whatever happened on the brooding over the facts that was there, and making your minds really in a very bad condition, from there you will be saved, because you are taking your mind out of that. I think I am clear in that way. We are thinking, brooding over the problems again and again, and as because it is the suffering, and more suffering is coming. More and more frustrations are coming, angers are coming. But if we pray to God, it will be exactly opposite. Because I am engaging my mind to think about God in the prayer, and this type of thought is not coming, and by that way you will be at least safe from the tormentation that was happening. And you know, God is there. And when we pray to God with tearful eyes, He comes and helps us. Have faith, and you'll be surely you can cope with these problems. Thank you.
So the next question is from SPM Mukherjee. He is asking, can performing one's swadharma and offering that work to God can lead to higher states of bhakti in spiritual aspirants, life leading to the senses being subdued, or the practice of meditation the only way?
No. It is not the only way. That's why that in the Ramakrishna mission, if you see the symbol, It is the combination of 4 yogas, all the 4 yogas. As because Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna himself practiced, and Swami Vivekananda gave the complete shape, and Ramakrishna Mission practiced all the 4 yogas. So, only meditation, no, that is a wrong conception. And some people, they try and they think but the meditation means what? Controlling your mind. And you can control the mind, change the mind's course by helping others, doing something good. You can, when you are praying and singing bhajan or cooking for God or doing something for God, that way also you can control the mind. So, all the 4 paths utilize and go out of these suffering. Thank you.
Shomin Das is asking again, how do I know that God's grace is on me when I'm going through a very, very difficult time?
See, you have to think in this way. In the past, so many things happened. So naturally, God helped me and I can overcome all this. When I was a baby and I was not knowing who is my mother, who is my father, there were some people, God sent people. They took care of me and they loved me, and I grew up and I have survived. So many people dying every moment, but God has kept me alive, and I must have done something good, and God also helped. And this is a challenging time, and when I am supposed to be more dedicated to God, I should not withdraw my mind, because this is the challenge. And I am sure that I will be able to overcome by the grace of God. So, this way, if you think, pray to God, your frustration will go away, and the moment your mind is out of frustration, it becomes calm, and you will find a path, a solution, and you will find somebody is coming and standing by your side and helping you. All these things will automatically happen. May not be a miracle, but it is because of the prayer to God. Have faith, do that, and you will see the result. Thank you.
The next question is from Devjani Dhar. She is asking, repeated unsuccessful attempt comes from bad planetary condition or lack of God's grace? Please help.
And some people, they say planetary condition, and some people say the karma phala. But you know what, Devjani? That you have a place where you will surely go. You have a position somewhere where you will surely achieve that. You don't be frustrated at all. And try to understand the goal that you are trying to reach. Is it your right goal? That is also we have to understand. That sometimes we try to become someone which is not, that metal is not within me. I cannot do that. Like in our children, when you were younger days, there are Sonny Listons and all those boxers were there. We were school students, and all these big pictures of the strong body Sonny Liston, and we used to dream that we will become Sonny Liston. And suppose I tried to be like that, maybe somewhere I end up with some boxer like that, not Sonny Liston. But if I go on thinking, oh, why I have not become like him, and cry, I am crying and suffering. So think in that way also. Which is your goal? Is it achievable? Can you do that? Or you change the goal, become something else, and be successful. So that will be good. 2 brothers were there in our school. One brother was very good and he became the doctor. He was always good in his study, and naturally his brother used to get rebuke from his parents. You cannot do anything in this life, what will happen to you, etc. He is a good cook now, a very famous chef, earning much more than his brother, doctor brother. And under him there are so many people working. So there is the destination but maybe we do not know exactly where I am supposed to go. So, counseling they call it. If you can have a proper counseling, which goal you should try to achieve and try to achieve that, and of course pray to Mother. Mother, please help me so that I can understand what I should become. Thank you.
The next question is from the user AM. He's asking, does God help us or does he just observes?
That's a good question, of course. You know that in one place God is telling that I do not bless the people and I do not also curse them. So this is their own karma phala they. But of course God helps. That depends on your temperament, if your understanding, your feeling. As Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna again and again in this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna we find that God is there. God is our Father. God is our Mother. God will help. Why not? And sometimes he is mentioning you can go and fight with God. You have given me this birth. And now why I should have to suffer? While our other children, your children, they are all enjoying. Why me to suffer? You can fight with God. And God will help in this way. You know how? That is also very, very unique. Buddhi yogam dadamaham. In the Bhagavad Gita, once he said, Nadatte kasyachit papam, nachaiva sukritam vibhuhu. I don't curse anyone and I don't give any blessings to anyone. They are according to their karma. But again he said, if somebody is devoted to me, depending on me, then how I help? Buddhi yogam dadamaham. I give him the proper way of thinking. And he can take the proper decision. I think, oh, I have taken the decision, I am successful. Why God and how God helped me? With that buddhi, he has given at that very right moment. The buddhi yogam dadamaham. So, thank you very much. One more question.
So one more question. MS, he's asking, how do I see God as a personal savior looking out for me? When he's formless, he's asking more in terms of dualistic and non-dualistic.
So again, friend, this depends on you. So when you think that God is non-dualistic, and how can you think in a personal way? So you are following the path of jnana, and there is no God. There is only you and the Atman, and you have to realize that. So Swami Vivekananda also said that it needs a hero's heart, because you are not blaming anybody for your suffering, and you are not giving the thanks to anyone for your success. It is all you. But very difficult path. Now, we need someone so that we can lay our head on his shoulder. We need to hold somebody's hand. We need somebody standing by my side to help me. So this dualistic type of mind, suddenly I cannot, in my spiritual journey, I cannot become that the path of knowledge and a jnani. It is better to follow the path of devotion in that. But it is up to you. If you think that you are capable, go ahead. All blessings with you. But difficult path, that's all, nothing else. Thank you then. I should thank you, friends. Thank you for beautiful questions. And I am very happy that you were listening carefully. If by somehow these teachings of Sri Ramakrishna we can apply in a practical way and solve our day-to-day problem, that is the real benefit of studying the scripture. Now let us chant this mantra and we conclude. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.